Hey there guys, I'm Steve Reed from the website Leaner by Design. Thanks for coming over, checking out this blog post of mine about the 16-8 method of intermittent fasting. I really hope you're going to get some good information from the blog post that you're going to read below, but I just wanted to actually put together a short video just to cover some of the points of daily fasting. So what we're talking about with 16-8 is we're talking about a daily intermittent fasting protocol, as opposed to some of the others like 5-2, where you eat normally for 5 days and then have 2 days of the week where you eat hyper low calorie. Now, sure, that can work for people, and there's plenty of people, including people that I know, who have really had some good success with a non-daily fasting, once a week, possibly twice a week fasting. That said, on a personal note, and with many of the clients that I've worked with my nutrition coaching program, they seem to find that 2 days a week of eating very low calorie is hard, and they tend to find binging being a result of this. A daily fast, one would think, would be more complicated, more difficult to adhere to. But in reality, it's not making that much of a change from where you may already be, the eating style you may already have. So just to put it into perspective, let's talk about 16-8. It's become very well known. It's probably been going on for quite a long time, but there's a particular guy called Martin Berkhan who developed a website called Lean Gains, which was really an intermittent fasting protocol for bodybuilders. Now, we're not all looking to become bodybuilders, but we are looking for a long-term, sustainable way of eating that allows us to manage our calorie intake without the problems that other types of diet may have. Eating lots and lots of very small, unsatisfying meals, eating normally during the week, and then having a couple of days where you eat hardly anything. The sort of protocol we're talking about, or eating plan, I don't like to call it a diet, is basically having an 8-hour eating window per day where you eat relatively normally, potentially eating some good sized meals, possibly some fruit for some snacks in between. But then you have a 16-hour period, which tends to run from your last meal in the evening until 16 hours later. So for argument's sake, we could be talking about you have your last meal at 8 p.m. You then go to bed at 10:30, making sure you're going to get plenty of sleep, which is important, not just for your health, but for losing body fat as well. And you'll get up in the morning, normal time, 6, 7 p.m. 7 a.m. and you'll have a cup of tea, have coffee, drink water, but you won't have breakfast. And then you'll just carry on as normal with some low calorie beverages during the day, coffee, green tea, water, whatever, until about noon, when you'll be able to start your 8-hour eating window. Now, this works really well for a lot of people. For one really important main reason. We all know about willpower, and if you're like me and lots of other people, you've tried all sorts of diets. You've tried eating high carb, low carb, high protein, high fat, moderate fat, low fat, all sorts of different things, Atkins, vegan, starch only diets, etc., etc. And you're probably here because you found that they haven't worked for you. And interestingly, that's not because you're a failure, or that you're useless, or that you haven't got any backbone or spine. You know that people would say, just suck it up and just do it. You just got to do it. But realistically, it's not as simple as that. Our physiology is always working, and our biology always working to maintain the status quo. It doesn't want us to lose body fat, even if doing that would make us potentially more healthy. So to think that you need to battle against your metabolism and your physiology and your evolutionary traits is kind of crazy, and you won't win. There's no doubt. Your body, with hormonal triggers, various other physiological triggers, will stop you from dieting yourself to death, as it may fear that there's a lack of food and something bad is going to happen to you if you continue losing this fat. So what we're looking to do with 16-8 is to create a lifestyle that you can stick to. And I digressed a little bit, but going back to the willpower side of things, have you ever noticed that a willpower tends to be pretty good in the morning and it sort of diminishes through the day? I'm sure that you may have been a person who maybe has skipped breakfast for years or has always managed to eat sensibly in the morning, but as the day goes on, you tend to make, in inverted commas, worse eating habits. And that's perfectly normal, and it happens to almost everybody. So with 16-8, what we're looking to do is use the willpower that you've got in the morning to skip your breakfast and just drink coffee, drink tea, drink water, whatever you're going to do, and then not have to have the willpower for the evening, because you're going to be able to eat good sized meals. So with the sort of protocol that I like to do myself and I like to use with my clients is we'll fast through till about noon. We'll then have a piece of fruit as a bridging snack if you feel you need it. That'll take you usually through till 1, 2 o'clock. You then have a moderate sized meal there. You can have the large meal at that time, or you can have the smaller one of the two. We usually have a large meal and a small meal, and you can flip them around to suit your lifestyle, to suit any training requirements that you may have. But around 1:30, 2 o'clock, you'll have a meal of some sort. That's going to take the edge off any hunger that you have, and later on in the day, possibly 4 or 5 o'clock, you might start to be feeling a little bit hungry. Another bridging snack, another apple, possibly a banana, something like that. And then you'd have your main meal in the evening. That could be between 6 and 8 o'clock. Alternatively, you could split that into 2 evening meals. So you have a smaller one at say 6 p.m. And then because you know that you suffer with potentially a problem with overeating or sticking your face into the biscuit tin at say 8:30 at night, you can actually plan your evening meal, your main one, so that you're eating at that time, which is going to really alleviate the urge to go and eat everything in sight. So that's pretty much it with 16-8. All you do then is rinse and repeat. You stop eating at about 8 o'clock at night, usually giving it a couple of hours before you go to sleep, just to allow your digestive system to function properly and not to close down with a belly full of food. And then you'll get up in the morning, you'll have coffee, whatever, and you'll start eating again at noon. Now, I do get quite a lot of questions, and you may see some at the bottom of this blog post. Is it okay to drink green tea? Yes, fine. Is it okay to have milk in my coffee? Will I be breaking the fast? Now, from a Puritan point of view, theoretically with a fast, no calories would pass your lips. But we're not looking at this necessarily from a spiritual or a cultural or religious viewpoint. We're looking at it from a body composition and a fat loss viewpoint. Now, what people do, almost everybody does it, they overanalyze what's going on and they concern themselves with the minute details which really will have very little effect on their goals. So if you like to have a splash of milk in your coffee, it makes it taste better, or in your tea, probably not green tea, but normal black tea, then do that. Yeah, it's very different to have a splash of milk in your coffee than to be going out in the morning and saying, I'm going to have five 5 lattes because Steve said it was okay to have milk in my coffee. There is a calorie energy balance here, and what we're doing is we're using intermittent fasting primarily to manage that energy balance, to not eat in the morning and to restrict your calories into a smaller eating window, which allows you, one, to eat bigger meals and to feel satisfied, two, to fit in with lifestyle and social obligations or just things you like to do. You know, you want to eat a good sized meal in the evening with your family. You want to go out on a Friday night and be able to say, yeah, I'm going to have a good meal. I'm not going to be eating, you know, tiny little chicken breast and salad. I want to have a dessert. You can do that stuff with a 16/8 lifestyle. And all you've really got to do, if you actually have some really important body composition goals, let's say you want to see your six pack, you're getting ready for some sort of competition where you need to be lean, you know, you've got an event coming up, a sports event or something like that, and you need to be carrying a lesser amount of body fat, then sure, it may be necessary for you to closely monitor your calories for a period of time. But if you're just somebody who wants to maintain your current physique, or you've got an awful lot of weight to lose and you want to try 16/8, I would say just focus on eating whole unprocessed foods most of the time and have a little treat a couple of times a week, and you will get closer to your goals. What a lot of people also do is they say, I've got 100 pounds to lose, but I've got to do this so I can get from 100 pounds to six-pack abs in a given length of time. Now, sure, the idea of being lean and having a six-pack, there's nothing wrong with that goal, providing you don't allow it to become the be-all end-all focus of your life, and to feel that without six-pack abs, you are not complete, or you are unattractive to women or men potentially. And if you don't get there within that time frame, that you feel like, oh, I failed, that diet didn't work, I'm useless, why even bother? Why don't I just go and eat 35 cookies just to make myself feel better about my failure? Now, that isn't what we want. That's not going to create a happy or sustainable life for anybody. And the whole thing that I really push with my website at Leaner by Design, and everything I do with the courses that I'm building for people, is you have got to find a sustainable eating plan. Not a diet for life, as in the restrictive term diet, as in, you know, restriction, trying to lose weight, etc., etc. You've got to find a dietary system that you're comfortable with, that allows you to indulge in some of the treats that you may enjoy occasionally, allows you to eat good sized meals so you don't feel hungry, and also to allow you to see changes in body composition over time. Now, if you can get that, you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of most other people in the world. All these people who yo-yo diet, jump between this diet and that diet, try this for 2 weeks, it didn't work. I've put on 1 pound today. I neglect to notice that I ate a large carby meal last night, which has allowed me to hold on to some water, some fluid retention. And people will live and die by that. And the scale is their only metric of, are they succeeding or are they failing? Not just in their diet, but in virtually every aspect of their life. Now, for you, who is really interested in getting stuck into 16/8 dieting, rerun this video, take these points on board, and actually just take a backward step and think, well, sure, there may be diets where you can lose a crap load of weight super quickly, but what happens then? Are you going to be like 95% of people who go on diets who regain all that body weight and more within 2 years? The statistics from the American diabetes organizations, who have done lots of research on dieting etc. And all the research says, if you go on restrictive, super low calorie, try and get thin quick type diets, you are going to fail in the long run, or should I say the diet is going to fail you. Unless you are something extraordinary, you are somebody who has got so much willpower more than anybody else, it's not going to work. You've got to find something that you can do for life. Once you've lost the body weight, you're going to be able to eat a lot more. And you're going to find that you may need to go to 3 meals a day, because eating 2 may just be too much as far as food quantity goes, particularly when you're eating healthy, whole, unprocessed foods for the first part. Now, one thing, just a final point I'd like to say on this is, yes, you can lose weight on a Twinkies diet. You can lose weight eating pizza. You can lose weight eating lots of ice cream. But one thing with these type of foods is that they are designed to be very rewarding, hyper palatable, and they're designed in laboratories to make you want to eat more of them. So although I will say you can include these foods, and potentially for a lot of people should include these foods, because we don't want to live a miserable life where we can't have any of the tasty things we enjoy, but please be aware that these foods, for some people, particularly people who have a history of yo-yo dieting and binging, etc., these foods are triggers for binging episodes and overeating. If you think that's you, then I would strongly advise, rather than eating them and trying to fight against the binge feelings that you get, is to just try and cut them out for a period of time and see how you go. It's different for everybody. Some people do better cutting all that crap out. I say crap, I mean that in a light, loose term, because that stuff's not going to kill you if you eat it in moderation. But for some people, exclusion is the way to go due to their mental state, their relationship with food, their previous history, etc., etc. But for some people, it's the other way around. Restricting completely makes them want to binge. So if you're that type of person, potentially having a small bowl of ice cream almost every day if you want to, in the evening, leave it to last thing, use up those extra calories to have a treat, that may be enough to keep you on the straight and narrow and on track. What I really want to press home to you is we're looking about a healthy, long-term plan. We're not talking about crash dieting. We're not talking about diets that are going to result in rebound weight gain. So take those points on board. Give 16-8 a go. If you're a female, you may find that you're better with 14 hours of fasting and 10 hours as an eating window. That may just mean that you have that piece of bridging fruit at 10 o'clock in the morning, your main meal at midday to 1 o'clock, everything carries on as usual. It may mean that you need to have something a little bit more substantial a little bit earlier. Ultimately, it's down to, I hate to say it, energy in versus energy out. Whether you like to use the term calories or whatever you want to call it, if you expend more than you take in, you will lose weight. Now, you'll see in some of my other blog posts that there are ways to maximize the effectiveness of your diet, not to lose lean mass whilst you're dieting, and protein requirements, carb requirements for active people. It's all important, but just as your first port of call, your first step in when you're venturing into this, is try and find an eating plan, meal timings that work for you, that you can stick with, and you can monitor your progress over time. So good luck. I love 16-8. I've been doing it for years. I'm not always perfect with it. Things go wrong for me as well. I'm a human being, almost, and I suffer from the same trials, tribulations, desires, wants as you do. So I'm not saying that this is a magic cure, but it's something that is very, very effective for a lot of people. So that's me signing off. Sorry I've talked too much, and please wake up if you've fallen asleep, and we'll talk again soon. Take it easy. Bye.